Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Gimmick Puppet deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because you guys have actually been requesting this one a lot recently because of the new support that came out of Legendary Duelist 5. And I'm really excited to actually deliver on this one because I really enjoy actually doing the requests that you guys put forth for me because it's an actual challenge sometimes. So without further ado guys, let's get straight into this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell on there so you become part of the notification squad. And I really quickly want to mention to you guys that I am going to be posting from time to time in the community tab where I'm going to be posting what deck profiles would you like to see, where you guys can definitely request, and I would love to see you guys' requests over there on the community tab of what decks you want to see in the future of me updating or actually doing a debut deck profile of. So definitely when you see those posts, definitely post out there and tell me what you guys want to see. I might start doing it monthly so I can have a little bit of inspiration for the month of what you would like to see. If it's already commented, definitely give it a like so I can know that that deck needs to be updated and it will go to the top. So without further ado guys, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Gimmick Puppet Dreary Doll. So basically this deck focuses around making machine monsters that are really big and using the main deck monsters as fodder to get to them. So don't be deceived by these 0 attack points. If this card's in your graveyard, you can banish another Gimmick Puppet monster in your grave and instantly special summon this from the grave. You can only use the effect once per turn, and once per turn, this card cannot be used as XYZ material for the XYZ summon except for the XYZ summon of a Gimmick Puppet, which is extremely important to keep in mind. Then we play 3 copies of Gimmick Puppet Biscuit Doll. This card's one of the new cards that actually came out in the Legendary Duelist. So this card is a really interesting card, and I absolutely love her effect. That you can special summon it from your hand by discarding a Gimmick Puppet monster from your hand, and you can manage this card from your graveyard, and your opponent cannot target Gimmick Puppets you control with card effects this turn, which is an extremely powerful effect to have to just be able to negate your opponent from doing all that targeting. Then we play 3 copies of Gimmick Puppet Magnet Doll. So Gimmick Puppet Magnet Doll is a really interesting card that if your opponent controls a monster and all monsters you control are Gimmick Puppet monsters, minimum 1, you can instantly special summon this card from your hand, opening up for so many different plays to be able to just go into with this particular card. And I really love that ability that you can just instantly grab straight out of your hand, almost like a Cyber Dragon, but better ability. Then we play 3 copies of Gimmick Puppet Terror Baby. This card is probably, in my opinion, one of the spookiest looking cards that I have seen in a long time in Yu-Gi-Oh! I really think that this card is weird looking, and I don't know how it got past Konami for the TCG. I'm surprised they did not edit this card, but they didn't. But it's a new, really awesome card. Basically, its effect is that when this card is normal summoned, you can target a Gimmick Puppet in your graveyard, except another copy of itself, and it instantly special summon into defense position, and you can banish this card from your grave. Then your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation effect of your Gimmick Puppets, which is really good to be able to just negate, or not, they just can't activate effects. So it just protects your Gimmick Puppets so well that it's just, you know, too difficult sometimes for them to deal with. So that's why I play it as a 3 of in the deck, because it can make a really big impact against your opponent. Then I play 3 copies of Gimmick Puppet Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty is another really good card that when it's normal summoned, you can special summon a Gimmick Puppet monster from your hand. So you can get some of those Gimmick Puppets out of your hand that's kind of bricking you and let you go into your Link plays if you have the ability to, or if you have the Terror Baby, you can go into some of your XYZ plays with Gigantic Doll. Then I play 1 copy of Gimmick Puppet Destroy. Basically, what this card does is you can target a Gimmick Puppet on your field and destroy it, and then you can only use the effect once per turn while this is on the field. And then when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 or 2 Gimmick Puppet monsters from your hand, which can be really beneficial to instantly get you into an XYZ play, which is really important for the deck. Then I have my own little personal tech that I kind of want to show you guys, and I am going to flip it upside down, and we're going to play Guess That Card. That's something that I haven't done in a little while on the channel, so I really quickly want to do that with you guys. So it is a monster that I play as a 3 of. It is not 3 different monsters that I want you guys to guess that card. So it's something that helps you get into Link plays a little bit easier in the deck, because this deck does take some of its normal summons one at a time, which kind of sucks. But this card really is beneficial to help you get into your Link monster, which is Chimera Doll. So definitely comment down below, tell me what you think it is, and that's all the hints you're going to get. Comment down below, tell me what you think this card is, and I'm going to reveal it in 3, 2, 1, here we go. Tell me what you think it is. Definitely comment down below. So it's something really interesting that I play, and it is 3 copies of Mecha Phantom Beast Tetherwolf. Now, the reason that I actually play Tetherwolf is when it's normal summon, you instantly get to have a token on the field. And I really like that ability of the Tetherwolf because you just normal summon it, get the token, and then link this and the token away, and then instantly get out your Gigantic Doll, which is something that is really, really nice to be able to do. And that's why I play it as a 3-of. Now, you could change this out and play 3 Cyber Dragons if you wanted to go into something else, like your Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon or your Mega Fleet Dragon or something like that in this deck, which would be beneficial to the deck as well, but I really like the Tetherwolf. Then, for the last 3 monsters, we play, of course, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, because you have to have some hand traps in this deck. So, that's it for all the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So, the spells are actually really interesting, and we're going to be getting some new spells in the next set for Gimmick Puppets, which is going to be really interesting. I think the next set's called Ignition Assault or something like that. Then we're going to be having 3 copies of Called by the Grave, because we don't like getting hand trap. We like to hand trap our opponent. 1 copy of Monster Reborn, because it helps us get into our Link plays and our XYZ plays a little bit easier in this deck. Foolish Burial, I play as a 1-of because a lot of your Gimmick Puppets thrive in the graveyard, or have to have something in the graveyard to bring back. 1 copy of Perform a Puppet. I only play a single copy of Perform a Puppet because I don't feel like it's not that crazy to me of a card. Don't get me wrong, it is a very, very, very good card, but I feel like it's as good as a 1-of. You can banish just 1 Gimmick Puppet monster from your graveyard, and all monsters you currently control become that level of the monster until the end phase of the turn, even if it leaves the field. And if a face-up Gimmick Puppet monster you control is destroyed by battle or by opponent's card effect, and since your grave, you can target a Gimmick Puppet in your monster in your grave and special summon it. It's good, but I think it's a good 1-of. Now, you could drop, if you wanted to, the Monster Reborn, and play a second copy of the Perform Puppet. That is entirely up to you. If you want to go more for the theme archetype, you could definitely drop the Monster Reborn, and it would help you get into some XYZ plays a little bit easier if you want to go that route. But I just play it as a 1-of because I have some other tech cards in here. So then I play 2 copies of Rank Up Magic Numeron Force. Numeron Force helps us rank up into our other XYZs, like our C 40 Gimmick Puppet of Dark Strings, or even the Giant Grinder if you need to go into that one. Then, 1 really, really cool tech card that I have in here is Rank Up Magic Quick Chaos. This card's really awesome. I see a lot of people playing this in the deck, but basically what this does is it helps you OTK your opponent a lot easier. What you do with this card is you make something like Gimmick Puppet of Strings, attack your opponent with this, have this in your hand, and then immediately after this does its battle damage, flip the Quick Chaos, and then go into Gimmick Puppet of Dark Strings and attack again for 33, doing a total of 63 off of 2 cards on the field. And if you have anything else on the field, you can just OTK your opponent. So then we play 2 copies of Junk Puppet, which is essentially Monster Reborn. That's the reason I say you might want to drop the Monster Reborn and play the Perform Puppet. If you want to, I might do that soon. I'm kind of leaning towards doing that. And then finally, for the last 3 spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Trade-In, because this deck thrives so well off of having level 8s in the grave. You have 9 targets, I believe, in the deck, which is going to make it so much easier to be able to go into plays. But the one you want to send to the graveyard all the time is your Dreary Doll, because it can revive itself. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. I am actually playing a couple of traps in this deck, which is actually really cool. We are actually going to be playing 3 copies of Puppet Parade. Now, Puppet Parade, I feel like, is very underrated for what it is, and I'm disappointed that it's only a common. I wish it was hollow, but if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can spell summon Gimmick Puppet monsters with different names from your deck up to the difference, and then if your opponent's life points are at least 2,000 or higher than yours, you can set a Rank Up Magic normal spell directly from your deck. For the rest of the turn, after this card is resolved, you cannot special summon monsters except for Gimmick Puppet monsters, and you can only use this effect of once per turn. But that's not that big of a deal, because all we really play in the extra deck, except for 2 cards, is Gimmick Puppets, so we're only going to be making them. But this card's really underrated. Yes, it is a little bit slow, but if you're going first, you can just instantly let your opponent go ahead, make whatever you want, and then if they're in phase, flip Puppet Parade, and then go in on the very next turn. So this card is extremely valuable in the deck, and I really think that this card is a little bit underrated. And it really helps you get like Dreary Dolls and stuff like that. Like, it's built in Inferno Reckless Summon. You don't need Inferno Reckless Summon, but if you don't like the Puppet Parades, I will recommend you can put in Machine Duplications. I am not playing Machine Dupe in the deck because I don't feel like you need it in the deck. I just don't feel like I need it in here. I feel like the Puppet Parades are a little bit better. because I can only go for maybe 1 or 2 XYZs that way. This way I can go for up to 3 XYZs if you play your cards right. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's go into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, I am going to be playing 2 copies of the number 40 Gimmick Puppet of Strings. Gimmick Puppet of Strings, the C version is really good because when it's XYZ, when this card is special summoned, you can destroy monsters with string counters, and if you do, draw a card, and then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the highest original attack among those destroyed monsters in the graveyard, your choice if it's a tie, and then once per turn you can detach a material from this card to place 1 string counter on each face-up monster your opponent controls. Then the effect of Gimmick Puppet of Strings lets us put those string counters that we need to activate the ability on our opponent's monsters, because once per turn you can detach a material from this card to place 1 string counter on each face-up monster on the field, and then accept this card. And if you do, during your opponent's next end phase, destroy monsters with string counters, and if you do, you get to inflict 5 points damage for each monster destroyed, which is extremely important for the deck because it just burns your opponent, and then you can just overlay or rank up into the other one, which is something really, really, really cool. Then we play 1 copy. I only play 1 copy of the Gimmick Puppet Giant Hunter. The single copy of Giant Hunter is extremely pivotal to the deck because you only need the single copy of Giant Hunter. Giant Hunter is one of those cards that you just need the single copy. I don't play 2. You can detach a material from this card and then target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. And if you do, if it was a monster, your opponent takes damage equal to the original attack of the opponent's monster, or of the monster destroyed by this card effect. Then I play 1 copy of Giant Grinder so you can rank up into it, which is extremely good for this deck because you really, really need to have at least one of this. Basically, you up to twice per turn, you can during your main phase, you can detach a material from this card and then target a special summon monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if it was XYZ monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack. Usually it's going to be linked monsters. I play 1 copy of Disaster Leo, because the Disaster Leo is like a win condition, and then 1 copy of Gimmick Puppet of Leo. I have tried in the past to actually just make this and OTK the opponent, or do the, not OTK, but like win off of its effect, which is really funny, but the deck moves too fast, so you can't. 2 copies of Gigantic Doll. Gigantic Doll is really good in the deck because basically it gives you that outlet to be able to... This card's really nuts. Like, you gotta really read this effect. You detach 2 materials from this card to target 2 cards in your opponent's controls and gain control of them until the end phase. You just take 2 cards your opponent controls. And then also for the rest of the turn, you can have special summon monsters except Gimmick Puppets, which 14 of our cards are Gimmick Puppets in the extra deck. And then you cannot declare attacks except for XYZ monsters. You can tribute this card, and all monsters you currently control become level 8. So you detach the materials, take the monsters, and then tribute it, and then make them level 8, and then go into, like, Strings or Giant Grinder, like, instantly. I play a single Boral Sword to OTK, because you can go into Boral Sword, and then 3 copies of Gimmick Puppet Chimera Doll. Chimera Doll is really good, and that's why I play 3 of it, because you're going to go into it all the time. During your main phase, if you control this Link Summon card, you can activate this effect. Basically, for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters except XYZ monsters, and you take a Gimmick Puppet monster in your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the grave, which basically starts all your combos, and if all monsters you control are Gimmick Puppets, you can special summon a Gimmick Puppet monster from your hand, which is really, really, really good, because this card gets all your plays rolling. You always want to have this on field at all times. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It's relatively budget. It's probably one of the most budget ones out of all of the ones out of the new structure, or out of the new Legendary Duelists. So I highly recommend that you give it a shot and try the Gimmick Puppets, because it's super fun. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this video down in the comments down below. Hit that bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.